October 7, 2023 would probably go down in history as the day that began the Great War. Hamas' attack on Israel resulted in Israel's retaliatory attack, which has been going on for close to 6 months now as this video is being recorded. Both sides claim exclusive ownership of the land. This ideology of exclusivity is also being followed closer home in India. There are ever-increasing voices to make India a Hindu Rashtra, a country only for Hindus. Both these cases are about a claim to exclusive ownership of land. So you might be wondering, what's the connection between this ideology and the Bible? Let's find out. The answer lies in something called election theology. Election in the Old Testament is the conviction of the people of Israel that they have been chosen by God among the peoples or nations. The following texts are from the many others that are generally used to support this claim. Now therefore, if you obey my voice and keep my covenant, you shall be my treasured possession out of all the peoples. Indeed, the whole earth is mine, but you shall be for me a priestly kingdom and a holy nation. These are the words that you shall speak to the Israelites. For you are a people holy to the Lord your God. The Lord your God has chosen you out of all the peoples on earth to be his people, his treasured possession. It was not because you were more numerous than any other people that the Lord set his heart on you and chose you, for you were the fewest of the peoples. We will find similar texts in the writings of the prophets and the Psalms. The fact that Israel belongs to Yahweh as a special possession makes it a nation. The covenant made at Sinai was the decisive step in the creation of Israel as a people. Israel is not chosen because it is better than other nations. Rather, it is the outpouring of divine grace that makes Israel worthy to be his treasured people in its weakness and worthlessness. Although this does sound very good, this theology does have certain negative implications. First, it leads to the development of an isolated or exclusive relationship. This exclusivity leads to the development of a hostile attitude towards anyone who is not a part of the group. The natural outcome is waging war against those who are outsiders, to avoid any kind of syncretism and worship of other gods. So we have looked at the text and there doesn't appear anything here to be debated about. Perhaps that's what God wants. Though some groups would like to believe this, it is not quite the complete picture. Welcome to the stage Julius Wellhausen and the documentary hypothesis. Wellhausen was a German biblical scholar best known for his analysis of the structure and dating of the Pentateuch. Wellhausen accepted the so-called documentary hypothesis, which proposes that the Pentateuch, also called the Torah or the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible, was not literally revealed by God to Moses, but represents a composite account from several later documents. 4 basic sources are identified in this theory, designated as J. Yahwist, E. Elohist, P. Priestly, and D. Deuteronomic, usually dated from the 9th or the 10th through to the 5th centuries BC. Here are the major criteria which support this theory. The first is duplicate narratives, example the creation account. The second is the different names of the deity. J uses Yahweh while E and P use Elohim. The third are the different theologies. J and E are more anthropomorphic while P is remote and transcendent. And the fourth, the different styles. J and E use vivid narratives while P is repetitious and found of genealogies. And lastly, you have the different vocabularies. J cuts the covenant while P establishes the covenant. All the texts that speak of the election theology come from the D source, that is the Deuteronomic strand. The Tzitsim Leben, or the situational life of D, is nationalism during the time of the Josianic reforms in 622 BC. The motto of D was one God, one people, one cult. And therefore the texts that were written during that period promoted a very exclusive view of religion. Election theology and its implications can make it look like an inward-looking religion. The other strands, however, paint a very different picture. Let's look at the Yahwist, that is the J strand. These are some of the earliest documents from the 10th to the 9th century BC. For example, the covenant with Noah and Abraham, the mention of nations descended from Noah, the story of the Tower of Babel, and the story of Joseph exhibits strong notions of universalism. Universalism of salvation is one of the main motives of J. None of the chauvinism, parochialism, or the ghetto mentality of the latter times is to be found in this thought. The next strand is the Elohist strand, that is E. E is writing at a time of religious syncretism in the 9th to the 8th century BC when there was a crisis of faith in Yahweh. Naturally, in such a situation, we cannot expect universalism as we see with J. Besides that, the E is writing the national epic of Israel. But all the same, we do find traces of universalism in this fragmentary tradition. The last strand, that is the priestly strand P, was written during the dark ages of the exile in the 6th to the 5th century BC. In this we find a beautiful synthesis of all the attitudes of Israel towards the other nations. Example in Genesis 1:26 unravels that all the human beings have their origins from God. The blessings of God were given to all humans before they committed any sin. So we see that the other strands, other than D, which is the J, E, and P, provide many instances of universalism and the outward-looking covenant. God is surely interested in Israel and his covenantal people, but he also has the interests of the other nations at his heart. Considering all the four traditions of the Pentateuch, we can say that they tell us that Yahweh, the God of Israel, has a universal plan of salvation for all nations. The documentary hypothesis has been refined and criticized by later writers, and some authors do continue to believe that Moses himself is the primary or the sole author of the Pentateuch. However, its basic outline remains widely accepted by the contemporary biblical scholars. Israel's turbulent history, and especially the experience of exile in Babylon for close to 50 years, from 587 BC, made them reflect on their place among the other nations and also their relationship with God. Israel is not chosen to receive blessings only for itself. Rather, it is called to be a channel of blessings to all of humankind. It is an election to responsibility and obligation, not a position of privilege. The election of Israel imposes upon it the responsibility of recognizing Yahweh alone as God and of keeping his commandment. God is therefore not a God only of one nation, but all. I believe this understanding will bring in the healing our fractured world is so much in need of today. Do write in with your comments about what you found interesting in this video. We'll meet again for the next episode of the Bible Explained. God bless.